Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the show. And coming up today, Executive Director of Governance Think Tank, IDEC, describes as inadequate duration of piloting of voter registration exercise as the Electoral Commission wraps up the exercise today.
I do not think 2 days pilot test in Accra is enough. You have to go to the other regions.
We'll hear from him. Also, the steering committee of the governing MPP meeting to discuss a proposed date for the conduct of the party's parliamentary primaries. We'll hear from sitting MPs on how the delay in the primaries is affecting them.
Of course, the uncertainty is something that all of us, we are not, or we have been boxed to the corner with.
It would have been appropriate if we had finished all these somewhere last year, so that we have the space to focus on the registration.
And later, National Communications Director of the NDC, Sami Jainfi, in the midst of a social media storm after he tweeted a cartoon poster about the voters' register that referenced George Floyd's murder. We'll speak to him live. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Arba Kumsin. We begin with the ongoing voter registration exercise, the piloting, which took off at the regional offices of the Electoral Commission across the country yesterday. Well, that exercise, which is to test run the BVR kits, assess the protocols put in place, among other things, in readiness for the main voter registration exercise to take place later this month, ends later today. Well, yesterday we reported the hitches that characterize the exercise. So has anything changed? On Election Brief today, we are assessing the situation on the ground. Let's start from the Ashanti region, where my colleague Prince Appiah has been monitoring the exercise. He joins us on the line. Prince, you were at the registration center this morning. Are the electorate massing up to be registered, and have you observed any challenges at all?
Yes, Araba, we've been here since morning, and I should say that the exercise has been very much fairly smooth since morning. As I speak to you, the office has been able to register about 40 of the residents that have come here. I should say that yesterday, actually, only 67 of the people that have come here were able to be registered. So today, as at this time, it is 40, and officials here say they are impressed with the numbers so far. But I should say that the other protocols that are expected to be observed here at the premises have been very much observed quite well. Immediately you enter, you are asked to wash your hands and before you sit down, and the seats have been arranged in a way that observes the spacing protocol very much. So those things have been observed well. But I should say that early in the day, the exercise was expected to start at 7, but it couldn't start at 7. It had to start at 8 and some minutes past 8. And the reason that officials give is that it is a demo exercise, which means that it has been configured to start at 8, but because they had mentioned to people to come at 7, the numbers were here as early as 6:30 before 7 to get registered. And so when the exercise had not been started at that time, that was when there was some misunderstanding. But again, at a point in time, there were some updates on the BVR machines, the system itself, and that also affected the updates all across where the exercise is happening. So it had to hold on a bit, and that also caused a little bit of delay. But apart from that, everything had gone on as expected. I currently have some of the political party officials here. I want us to speak to them pretty much very short and understand from them how the exercise has been from their point of view. Thank you very much for joining us on JoyNews.
Thank you. My name is George Abofra. I'm the Regional Director for Elections, NDC Ashanti.
What would you say has been your observation so far?
I've made several observations, but I want to refer on 2. One, observation of the protocols over here. I want to give you a scenario. Assuming I'm an infected individual, I pick my card, I infest the card, I put it in my pocket, appear at the entrance, I wash my hand, I observe all the protocols. Then they have arranged our 30 seats over here. I sit behind the last seat and then move on the seat to the first one. Once I infest my clothing, I infest all the seats. So anybody who comes in to sit on the same seat will be infested. Then there are three centers, 3 stations here. First station is taking biodata, then the second station is do the entry, and then the third station is printing the card. Now, I will infect, when you get to the first station, you put your hand in your pocket, you pick your infected card, put it on the table.
So apart from the protocols, everything is okay with you, right?
Well, I was relatively.
So that's Prince Appiah reporting there from the Ashanti region. Let's head to the Upper East region. Albert Sorry is on the ground. What's the situation there, Albert?
Yes, Araba. So here in the Upper East region, it's not so different from what Prince is reporting from Kumasi. Yesterday, we told that the exercise went on smoothly. They had 60 people who took part in the exercise yesterday. This afternoon, about 30 minutes ago, I was at the regional offices of the Electoral Commission, and nothing so different. They started the exercise a bit late, but as at 1 p.m., they had 36 people who had successfully gone through the exercise. And also on the COVID-19 protocols, they have somebody there who uses the gun thermometer to measure people's temperatures when they arrive. Then if your temperature falls within the expected rates, they ask you to proceed and then wash your hands, and then you proceed to join the queue and go through the processes of taking part in the exercise. Now, the only challenge which I witnessed was a bit of the machines which had stopped for a while. The explanation was that they needed to switch from the machine they were using at that time to another one. And so that made the exercise to stop for a while, and then later it continued. Also, while I was there, the Upper East Regional Minister, Tangoba Abayage, also came there just to observe for herself how the exercise was going and to talk to the officials of the Electoral Commission just to see how smoothly the exercise was going. So generally, it's been smooth, and the Regional Director of the Electoral Commission is confident that based on the how the exercise has gone, he's pretty sure that his staff are ready for the main registration exercise when it starts.
Very well, that's Albert Sorry in the Upper East region. Let's head to the Upper West region, from where Rafiq Salam joins us on the line. Rafiq, give us an update on the exercise thus far. Hello, Rafiq, if you can hear me, give us an update on the registration exercise there.
The exercise me now. Hello?
Go ahead, Rafiq. Of course, this is technology. We get these things. So Rafiq is still on the line. Rafiq, if you can hear me, what I'm asking is, how has the exercise fared so far?
The exercise in the Upper West region, I will tell you that is going on at the snail's pace because the exercise which started yesterday had only 53 people been able to register, and then also today they started around 8 a.m. By 10 a.m. they were only able to register only about 5 people, and so they have some challenges with the network. When I tried to speak to the Upper West Regional Director of the Electoral Commission, Ali Osman Adamu, he told me that it was not a network problem. They had information from Accra that they want to upgrade the system, and that was the reason why they did that. But the party agents who were present, including the NDP, CBP, PNC, and also the NDC. Then some of them were not happy about the way things were moving, especially the NDC. They are saying that they haven't seen anything different. They have been told that they will capture the Irish, and then what they are seeing now is not what they are getting. And so it's really difficult for them to what the East is trying to do.
All right, many thanks, Rafiq Salam, there reporting from Wa in the Upper West region. Let's head to the Volta region. Fred Kwame Asari joins us on the line. You recall yesterday he reported that there were some challenges with adhering to the social distancing protocols. Fred, has that been fixed?
Yeah, Araba, this morning when I visited the registration center, I should say that there has been major improvement. Unlike yesterday where I saw only a bench placed in between the information decks and then the data entry decks. Yet this morning, plastic chairs have been placed there to ensure that people who would come to apply or who would want to go through the process and have their cards are seated and then observe the social distance. And I should also say that before you get to the first deck, a bench has been placed there, but then before that, there are markings on the ground. So before you get to the information deck, there are markings to indicate that where you are sitting, you shouldn't sit close to the other person who is also at the center to apply with for the national, for the voters' ID card, I should say. So in all, there has been major improvement here at the Volta Regional Registration Center for the piloting of the voter ID card registration. Okay. And Fred, very quickly, do you know how many people have been registered so far? Well, at about 1 p.m. when I was leaving the center, over 45 people were able to go through the process, and then they were issued their demo card. But then before they were issued the card, they were told that this is just a demo, so you can't use the card for any other transaction. You can't use the ID card to vote. Neither can you use it to register for any other transaction or open a bank account. So this explanation was given to people who were at the center to go through the pilot registration exercise. Volta Regional Correspondent Fred Kwame Asari, many thanks for that. And that concludes our wrap of our checks across the country. We're also hearing that in the Western region, the BVR machine had broken down, leading to the suspension of the exercise. We'll get details in our subsequent bulletins. Still on the register, though, the Executive Director of the Institute for Democratic Governance, Dr. Emmanuel Akwetey, is worried the Electoral Commission is not communicating enough to the voting public just some few weeks to the new voter registration exercise. Dr. Akwetey insisted the EC officials must engender confidence in the impending registration exercise and create credibility for the program. He, however, says the two-day pilot registration exercise is not enough.
In the past, the EC had more time than now, which is not entirely its fault. COVID is COVID. And so it's now going to have to operate within very strict, limited time. And that calls for greater cooperation. Otherwise, these processes will be delayed. So you're talking about 2 days. I do not think 2 days pilot test in Accra is enough. You have to go to the other regions. Maybe the newly created regions are maybe sparsely, populated. They are new and people are still moving or whatever. So you may not have to deal with huge crowds. Okay. The 6 put together is just some small percentage of the people that need to be registered. This is general registration. So for me, you cannot say 2 days pilot test makes you ready to register 17 million or 17 to 18 million people as projected. You cannot. Piloting has to occur in different environments. So it's both an advice to EC, it's both based on the knowledge we've had in the past, and until the EC gives us the details of what the pilot is. You see, in the past, it communicates. It will tell you what it is going to do, and the cooperation it needs, the education it needs, and so on and so forth. So I cannot know much more than what I've seen, but my mind tells me that 2 days pilot, and new equipment, even new cars, when they are manufactured, the engine goes through a whole lot of tests before they are certified. And when you receive it too, it would go round and round and see. Sometimes some will work perfectly, other times there are glitches. So more pilot testing, and that's why it has 1 month. I think it has given itself about a month or a couple of weeks before late June